Hi, my name is Kristine.
And I'm Shelby, and today we will be discussing the concept Richard Weaver presented called Worldview.
More specifically, the posed question we'll elaborate on is, how do communicative practices reveal worldview according to Richard Weaver? First, we'll talk about what Weaver's study was focused on, and then a little bit more about what worldview is, and finally, we'll present a mnemonic device that hopefully helps you remember the concept of worldview a little better.
Within the realm of communications, Weaver was particularly interested in the idealism that could prove that dialectic can inform rhetoric.
He thinks that in order for language to be highly effective, we need to understand people's values before we speak. In other words, inquiry must precede advocacy.
Based off a person's background, various words can have positive or negative connotations in people's minds.
Language works in rhetorical ways to help shape our values, and it can be based off where we are around the world. The way we speak can reveal our opinions and ideologies, which is formed based off of our cultural background and geographical surroundings.
Weaver reveals communicative practices through 3 key points, including the kinds of arguments we make, the grammatical format and sentences we use, and what he called God and devil terms.
Let's first talk about the 4 kinds of arguments that exist within Weaver's terms, which include genus and definition, similitude, cause and effect, and testimony and authority. We'll start with genus and definition because that is considered to be the best kind of argument. Genus and definition is based off the nature of an item and can base a claim off of one or more fixed qualities.
The second is similitude. Similitude simply consists of comparisons between different objects or things, and metaphors and analogies are used to convey the argument.
The third one is cause and effect, the third level of argumentation. This one moves very quickly from accepted evidence to truth. Conclusions can be drawn very easily in some situations.
The final argument of the 4 is testimony and authority. It is based off experience, specifically from a credible source, and is based off what they know.
For those of you visual learners, here again are the 4 kinds of arguments: genus and definition, similitude, cause and effect, and testimony and authority. These are the 4 kinds of arguments that Weaver believes tie together the concept of worldview. Now on to the types of sentences and concepts that exist behind grammatical details.
First, there are simple terms, which include topics seen in black and white that tend to be more direct and straightforward. Then there are complex ideas, which are the shades of gray, so to speak, and that tend to have more detail.
The third of Weaver's 3 main ideas involve God and devil terms. People perceive certain words as likable. When you hear the words free or money in the United States, those tend to have positive connotations. The second of Weaver's topics is sentences, both simple and complex, in God and devil terms.
Now that we've covered that, we want to present a mnemonic device to help you better recall worldview.
Kristine made Shelby a super cool handmade woven blanket and was excited to present it as a gift. But when she showed the blanket, Shelby was a bit appalled by the appearance of the blanket. To her, it looked like something old and raggedy, not something of value. So to help better remember, think of Richard Weaver and a blanket that was done by weaving, and how because the worldview of the 2 girls are different, the blanket has different meaning and value.
To Kristine, the blanket is special because it is original and homey, plus she put a lot of work into it. To Shelby, who is more concerned with neatness and enjoys items that are more stylistically cut, the blanket didn't appeal to her.
This reflects how communicative practices can reveal worldview, especially incorporating the first of the 4 kinds of arguments that we talked about earlier, genus and definition, which is when we base a claim off a fixed quality.
On that note, remember the other types of arguments: similitude, cause and effect, and testimony and authority.
Another important factor is the kinds of sentences that people say, either being simple or complex.
A topic we also covered was God and devil-like terms, and how certain words are seen as likable or dislikable.
We hope now that you have a better understanding of the concepts presented by Richard Weaver in Worldview. Thank you!